Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all doing very well. So today we're going to talk about how to share responsibly about self-harm. I think we all know we should talk way more about self-harm in the general public, but I also think we should do it in a safe and effective way so it doesn't backfire on us. And to help with that, the ISSS, or International Society for the Study of Self-Injury, has come up with guidelines for the media to talk about self-harm. Here is what it looks like, and it's called the Media Guideline for the Responsible Reporting and Depicting of Non-Societal Self-Injury. As you can see, these guidelines were mainly created for media outlets, but honestly I think they work just as well in many other settings, including social media, including writing papers for school, including writing a blog post, and including just talking about it with your friends. So these guidelines are what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to present them to you, and I'm also going to share how I use them on Instagram and YouTube. And just as a side note, before we dive into it, you're going to see NSSI used a lot instead of self-harm. This stands for non-societal self-injury, and it basically means the same thing as when I say self-harm. Okay, so there we go. The first one is to avoid use of NSSI related images in details, especially of NSSI words or methods. So this one is quite self-explanatory. Try not to talk about the words or the methods or tools more than is necessary, and honestly it's really not that necessary at all. This is something that you can skip quite easily. I think it's way more important to talk about the behavior that the person is using, the feelings that they have around it, than the actual words that they're creating or the actual methods or tools that they're using. To my knowledge, the reason why you're better off not talking about the words or methods/tools is because those can be very triggering aspects to someone else. And obviously if you're trying to raise awareness, this is not an outcome that you want at all. Obviously, I'm not saying that these are not things that should not be mentioned at all, never. And let's be honest, I've probably talked about them on my channel before. But I think these should not be the primary focus, especially when you're writing a paper or when you're talking about it with your friends. So second guideline is highlight efforts to seek treatment, stories of recovery, and updated treatment and crisis resources. So basically make your focus on recovery and what helped people. Again, that does not mean that you can't talk about struggles you have or you've had. That doesn't mean you only have to talk about the positives and how you're getting better. It's not what it means to me at all. It just means that your main focus should be on recovery and what helped you, not the grimy details and the despair and all of that. But if you can make your focus on recovery and what can help people, I think this is ultimately what's gonna help. So third guideline is avoid misinformation about NSSI by communicating peer-reviewed and empirically supported material. So basically avoid spreading misinformation, and there is a lot of misinformation on self-harm. Like I said in my video about what it's like to be a mental health advocate online, when you share something about self-harm, you have to be clear with yourself that for some people, self-harm information is so hard to come by that you may be their only source of information on self-harm, and you have to take that seriously. If you're looking for good quality information on NSSI or self-harm, I'm gonna leave some links in the description box. Fourth guideline is present information neutrally and avoid exaggerated description. This guideline basically means avoid sensationalism and trying to make self-harm a freak show. Try to remember that you're talking about people here, and that if you want to try to help us, sensationalism is not the way. Yes, you may get more clicks, but you're not gonna help us. Fifth guideline is use non-stigmatizing language and avoid terms that conflate person and behavior. I know I may not seem like the best person to say that, as my channel name is literally Selfharmerproblems and it doesn't really correlate with that guideline, but when I use it in a sentence, I try to say someone that self-harm instead of a self-harmer. Basically, you're not just a self-harmer, you are not just someone that self-harm, there's more to you than just the fact that you self-harm, even if you may not feel like it sometimes. So use someone that self-harm, use someone with lived experience of self-harm. But try not to use color, try not to use self-injurer, try not to use self-mutilator. These are people that have more to themselves than just their NSSI. And last but not least is make sure that comments are responsibly moderated. And this is exactly why I put comment guidelines in place, because I was so sick of seeing my comment section being such a mess. If you want to know more about that, I made a video, I'm gonna link it here. But if you're posting a news article, if you're posting a blog post, if you're posting anything on social media, make sure that the comment section has not become a cesspool of gross people that do not understand self-harm or are being very rude about it. And if you're the one posting, moderating the comments is also your responsibility. This is not just something that you can say, well, it's not me posting, so it's not my responsibility. You have to be responsible about what that comment section looks like. So that's gonna be it for today. I really hope you liked this video. Please tell me what you think of those guidelines. What would you add? What would you change? I really want to know what you think about that. And also, if you think I don't follow those guidelines in some way, please let me know either in the comments or on Instagram. I really want to make myself better at this also. As usual, if you want to chat with me, you can hit me up on Instagram, link is in the description as always. I answer to every DM I get, not always super fast, but I always answer, and I will see you very soon.